For 2,000 years, the Church has faced many contrary winds, but at the end of the most difficult journey, the victory was always won. The family. The future of the world and the Church passes through the family. These prophetic words of St. John Paul II show how the Church in our time must, above all, defend and promote the beauty of the Christian family in the fidelity of God's design. In his post-synodal exhortation on the family, Amoris Laetitia, the joy of love, Pope Francis states clearly, in no way must the Church desist from proposing the full ideal of marriage, God's plan in all its grandeur, proposing less than what Christ offers to the human being. This is why the Holy Father openly and vigorously defends Church teaching on contraception, abortion, homosexuality, reproductive technologies, the education of children, and much more. In my first 5 years as Archbishop of Conakry, Guinea, Africa, I made my task to dedicate all my pastoral letters to the family. Perhaps only the beauty of the family can reawaken the longing for God in the innermost recesses of the conscience of our brothers and sisters and heal the wounds inflicted on our humanity by sin. St. John Paul II, the Pope of the new evangelization, describes in Familiaris Consortio how the family is the first place where the gospel is welcomed and is also the first herald of the gospel. How true this is. The generous and responsible love of spouses, made visible through the self-giving of parents who welcome and nurture children as a gift of God, makes love visible in our generation. It makes present the perfect charity of the Trinity. If you see charity, you see the Trinity, wrote St. Augustine. From the beginning of creation, God, who is a communion of persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, 3 different persons, yet one, has built a Trinitarian structure into our very nature. In the continent of my origin, Africa, we declare, man is nothing without woman. A woman is nothing without man. And the two are nothing without a third element, which is the child. The trine God dwells within each of us and imbues our whole being, God's own image and likeness. Every human being, like the person of the Trinity, has the capacity to be united with other persons in communion through the vinculum caritatis, the bond of charity of the Holy Spirit. The family is a natural preparation and anticipation of the communion that is possible when we are united with God. The family as it were, is a natural preparatio evangelica written into our heart nature. This is why the devil is so intent on destroying the family. If the family is destroyed, we lose our God-given anthropological foundations and so find it more difficult to welcome the saving good news of Jesus Christ, self-giving, fruitful love. St. John Paul II explained, if it is true that the family is a place where more than anywhere else human beings can flourish and truly be themselves, it is also a place where human beings can be humanly and spiritually wounded. The rupture of the foundational relationship of someone's life through separation, divorce, or distorted imposition of the family, such as cohabitation or same-sex unions, is a deep wound that closes the heart to self-giving love and to death, and even leads to cynicism and despair. These situations cause damage to the little children through inflicting upon them a deep existential doubt about love. They are a scandal, a stumbling block that prevents the most vulnerable from believing in such love, and a crushing burden that can prevent them from opening to the healing power of the gospel. Advanced societies, including, I regret, this nation, have done and continue to do everything possible to legalize such situations. But this can never be a truthful solution. It is like putting bandages on the inflicted wound. It will continue to poison the body until antibiotics are taken. Sadly, the advent of artificial reproductive technologies, surrogacy, so-called homosexual marriage, and other evils of gender ideology will inflict even more wounds in the midst of generation we live with. This is why it is so important to fight to protect the family, the first cell of the life of the church and every society. It is not about abstract ideas. It is not an ideological war between competing ideas. This is about defending ourselves, children, and future generations from a demonic ideology that says children do not need mothers and fathers. It denies human nature and wants to cut off an entire generation from God.